Hey guys, today actually marks the 1 year anniversary of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, so I decided this would be a good occasion to do a Q&A. There's a lot of stuff that's been happening with my channel recently, and there's been a lot of questions about Super Mario Bros. Wonder modding, so yeah, I'll be answering those. I'm gonna go through some of the Super Mario Bros. Wonder related questions first, and then we'll get on to questions more so related to me or my channel or whatever. And at the end of the video, I also have two small announcements to make. Anyways, let's get started. Probably the most common question I got when announcing this Q&A was something along the lines of, is custom code possible in Super Mario Bros. Wonder? And my answer is, you're asking the wrong person. I don't know much about programming or custom code, even when it comes to Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Some of the stuff I've done in some of my videos might look like custom code, but it's really just changing some configuration files which are separate from the game's code, because Super Mario Bros. Wonder is just very customizable in that way. But yeah, so either way, I don't really have a good answer for this. Would you say the Fushigi level editor is now stable enough to be used by anyone? No. I guess stable might not be the right word. It doesn't crash for me as much as it used to, but there are still just so many super un-user-friendly things about the editor that just make it super annoying to use, and it's obviously the only option when it comes to making custom Super Mario Bros. Wonder levels, so in that way, if you do want to make custom Super Mario Bros. Wonder levels, yeah, I do recommend it. But if you're just interested in 2D Mario level design in general, I would probably just recommend playing Mario Maker or whatever, because Fushigi is still a complete mess. If I wanted to learn more about contributing to the Fushigi editor, where would I go to look? The Wonderland Discord server. I mention it in most of my videos, and it's linked in the description of all of them as well. There's a whole category dedicated to Fushigi development, and if you're a programmer watching this and you think I can maybe help with that, then please do check it out. It would be very much appreciated. What do you think about making tutorials for Wonder? I got a lot of questions like this when I first started making custom Super Mario Bros. Wonder levels, and at the time my excuse was that Fushigi was still in such active development that if I explained how to do something in Fushigi now, it might be different in a week or a month or whatever, so the tutorial would quickly be outdated. Nowadays that might not be the case as much anymore because Fushigi hasn't seen as much development in recent months, but still, the idea of doing a tutorial where like the focus is on how to use this specific program just really doesn't appeal to me personally. I'll still probably do it someday, especially if there is more demand for it, and also if Fushigi becomes more stable or more easy to use, but at the moment I'm not going to make a tutorial, no. I got quite a number of questions that asked for level design advice, and obviously I could talk about this in particular for hours, but I'll try to keep it brief. My main piece of advice is to do as much as possible for your level before actually starting work on it. Try to look for a cool combination of mechanics, think of how you're going to introduce each mechanic individually before combining them, consider how you'll hide secret collectibles, stuff like that. I tend to feel quite a bit of pressure when making my levels, so figuring out stuff ahead of time means I don't have to worry as much during the creation process. I know some friends of mine even sketch out their entire levels on paper ahead of time, which I don't do, but that's the same sort of idea. All these design principles also apply to the Wonder effect. I've made a couple of levels where I didn't figure out the Wonder effect ahead of time, and it was a real pain during the level creation process to have that constantly weighing down on me, basically. So yeah, just plan everything you can. Are there any big Kaizo hacks for Wonder yet? Not ones that have been released, no, but as it happens, my friend Jerby has been working on a Kaizo project. He's been sharing previews on his Twitter page, which I guess I'll link down in the description, and I believe he's hoping to release the mod relatively soon. Is it possible to add new voice lines, perhaps using AI tools to replicate the voice, to the talking flowers? Well, the short answer here is yes, people have already done this. However, if I do ever end up implementing custom voice lines into my own levels myself, I won't be using AI-generated voice lines to do it. I don't like the idea of taking the voice actor's original performance and making his voice say stuff he never said himself. It just doesn't seem ethical to me. Instead, I'm maybe hoping to recruit voice actors to voice the talking flowers in my mod, so if you're interested in helping out with that, maybe get in touch. Do you think there will be an official DLC for Wonder? No, it's been too long. Another super common type of question I got was whether I'll ever release my custom Super Mario Bros. Wonder levels. And yes, I will, though it might take a while before I do. I'm planning on making one big Super Mario Bros. Wonder mod that will contain all the custom levels I make, and that'll only release once I no longer feel like making new levels. So whether that'll be in like a few months or a few years remains to be seen. At the moment, I'm calling this potential mod One Hit Wonder. Though that name definitely won't be final, so let's just refer to it as Project One Hit Wonder. What happened with Nintendo? So, in case you didn't know, earlier this year I had a bunch of issues related to Nintendo taking down every single Wonder modding video I made, to the point where a few months ago I made a video explaining that this would probably make it impossible for me to make more Wonder modding videos in the future. And yet, obviously, it didn't turn out that way, so what changed? Annoyingly, I actually really, I can't talk about the solution I found. Part of the way it works is that it's a secret. It's worked out so far. Actually, let me just... That was me knocking on wood. Yeah, so it's worked for the past month, and I hope it continues working, but I really can't share any details. Another common type of question I got was something along the lines of, what is your favorite this or that part of Super Mario Bros. Wonder? As a whole, Super Mario Bros. Wonder is probably my second favorite Mario game, just behind Super Mario 3D World. Sure, it has its problems, lame boss fights, a few of the worlds are kinda short, some wonder effects are overused and others are underused, but overall it's my favorite 2D Mario game by far. My favorite world is Fluff Puff Peaks, just because I think it has the highest average level quality. My favorite level is, well, I guess it's Cosmic Hoppos, mainly due to my experience with it playing it for the first time. Just like the way the level has that second checkpoint after the goal pole sort of blew my mind and just made me rethink the way this game breaks pre-established 2D Mario conventions. And apart from that, it's also just a very fun level. My favorite talking flower voice line, I guess it might be this guy in Flight of the Blooms, because... well, why did he say that? My favorite level that I've made myself is, maybe Hop Stop Swamp? Not per se because the finished result is objectively amazing or anything, but just because of how painful the process of making that level was, and for it to still turn out as a pretty good level is a minor miracle, I'd say. Okay, and those are all the questions that are directly related to Super Mario Bros. Wonder, so now onto the miscellaneous questions about me and my channel. How do you pronounce your username? I pronounce it Rimea, but it's not my real name or anything like that, so you don't have to feel bad if you mispronounce it. I also got a few questions about the origins of my owl profile picture. Before Super Mario Bros. Wonder came out, I used this as my profile picture, which is an owl boss fight from Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. But when I realized my channel would probably revolve around Super Mario Bros. Wonder from now on, I decided to switch to something more appropriate. When the game came out, I found this model for an owl enemy in the game's files, so based on that, I commissioned a guy named Doko Troopy to make me a profile picture. As it turns out, this is a hoo-hoo, and they only appear in a single level in the entire game. But despite that, I'm actually very happy with my choice of mascot, because, I mean, he's very unique. What is your favorite video game? Well, I actually just mentioned it, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It's a 2D platformer that, I guess, plays a bit like a Mario game. It's nice to look at and has one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, and it also features some of the best level design in any game I've played. So yeah, please, if you're interested, do give it a shot. Do you plan on doing other forms of content on the channel? This is something I talked about a bit in my Nintendo Takedowns video, how only making Super Mario Bros. Wonder videos for months at a time had started to feel pretty monotonous, and how I maybe wanted to shake things up a little. I do still feel a bit of that sometimes, but honestly the idea of making videos on other games or something like that, currently it also just doesn't interest me. The last two videos that were taken down by Nintendo was some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe stuff that I released last month, and even before those were taken down, those barely got any views. I'm not going to just repeat that cliche that, like, views don't matter to me. When I spend days or weeks making something, I do it partially because I know thousands of people might see it and enjoy that thing. So, yeah, for now, I don't feel much motivation to, let's say, deviate from the type of videos that have made this channel successful over the past, well, now it's been a year. A number of questions basically asked me how I started modding, or how I feel about my modding journey, so to speak. Like so many people in the 2D Mario modding community, I started modding due to the release of newer Super Mario Bros. Wii in 2013. Though it actually wasn't until 2017 that I made a name for myself, so to speak, by releasing my first few new Super Mario Bros. U mods. I released an absurd amount of those between 2017 and 2022, the last of which was Cloudy Super Mario Bros. U 2, a project with a ridiculous name that I worked on for more than 4 years. Those years, well, they certainly had their, let's say, ups and downs. So once that mod was out, I basically left the community and tried to focus on smaller, more personal projects. But then Super Mario Bros. Wonder was announced, and I knew I couldn't stay away from it, and sure enough, my channel basically blew up because of that game, and the rest is history. In fact, that reminds me, I also got a bucket load of questions about whether I'm planning on returning to New Super Mario Bros. Modding, and what will happen from my unfinished projects that I left behind when I started modding Wonder. Well, I'm going to disappoint some people by saying this, but no, I don't think I'll ever fully return to New Super Mario Bros. U modding. The only reason I ever modded that game is because it happened to be the newest 2D Mario game. I was never that attached to it as a game on its own. Now that there's this other game, which I like way more and which is also way more popular, I just don't really see the point in ever going back. I'm sorry. That also means that Luigi's Lost Levels, the new Super Mario Bros. U mod I was working on when Wonder came out, will probably never be finished, though thankfully I also never announced a release date for that mod, so I guess it's no big deal. On the other hand, Super Mario and the Crystal Crescents, the new Super Mario Bros. 2 mod I've technically been working on for 2 years now, is actually nearly finished, believe it or not. If all goes to plan, it should be out within like a month. Though to be fair, last time I announced a release date for that mod, it didn't really work out. Maybe don't trust me when it comes to this kind of thing. And those are all the questions I wanted to answer. Sorry if I didn't pick yours, but there were just way too many for me to answer every single one as thoroughly as I would like. Anyways, like I alluded to at the beginning of this video, I have 2 small announcements to make that I want to discuss now. First of all, I've decided to make my own public Discord server. This isn't supposed to be a server focused on Super Mario Bros. Wonder modding. This will hopefully just be a nice place for me and fans of my channel to chill. The invite link is in the description, so I hope you decide to check it out, and if so, that you behave yourself. The other announcement is something that probably won't appeal to as many of you, but I've enabled channel memberships. By becoming a channel member, you'll get early access to many of my videos. You'll also get a little icon next to your name, you'll get access to emojis, there's other stuff I'm forgetting, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So if you want to, for example, see my new custom level video right now, maybe consider signing up. Anyways, that's all for today's video, guys. Thank you all so much for the support over the past year of Super Mario Bros. Wonder modding, and I hope to continue like this for many more years to come. See you later, and bye bye.